Alrighty, it says we're live. I'm going to double check everything, make sure everything's working, and then I will be back to see if everyone is doing good and what they're doing and all that fun jazz. Yep. Ah, there we go. I can figure it out. Okay. Hello. Welcome. If you're new here, my name is Skye. I'm a fantasy author who typically writes paranormal romance under the name SD Hegyes, and we're going to be doing some productivity sprints today. I am going to be working on updating my reading log and getting that closer to being completed or at least up to date. I'm really far behind on that. I actually need to find my little notebook that I keep the list in to see how far behind I am because I like being able to check stuff off, and I don't know where my little note. Actually, I do know where my little notebook is, and I know where the bag is that the little notebook is in. But that's not here nor there. Um, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing. If you are new here, the way I tend to do things is I have this lovely timer on the screen on my left, your right, and it is a 25-minute timer. It has 5-minute breaks in between. We're going to do 4 25-minute sprints. Um, the cat will meow at us when it's time to be done and start. And then during those sprints, I also like to put prompts on the screen. Lately, I've been doing dialogue prompts. You don't have to write that prompt. It's just there if you want it. If you don't know what you want to write about, but you know you want to write something, maybe it'll inspire you or give you like this jump start to get some words in. I don't know. That's up to you. But yes, if you are here, let me know what you're going to be working on today, just because I am nosy as fuck and I want to know everything. Uh, let's see. Paget was here earlier. Hello. Oh, fantastic. I have a lot to do tonight. Hello. Welcome. What all are you going to be working on tonight? Just because I'm nosy and I want to know the things. I want to know all of the things. No one asked your opinion, phone. Okay, need to put that on vibrate for the stream, and I will turn it back on normal later. Okay. I don't remember what else I was going to mention. I feel like there was something else I was going to talk about, but I don't remember what it is. I had posted a lot of videos today. I had several days worth of filming that I had to post for Vita, so I got that done. I still owe you guys a video about all of my projects, and I am working on it. However, it is extremely long. I am filming it in chunks, and already I'm not even halfway through it, and it's an hour long. So I've got to figure out how to condense it, or I'm gonna have to split it up into multiple parts, and I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that yet. So it will come out eventually, but at this point, it is probably going to be like early to mid-September before you see it because of the fact that I am doing Vita this month. My whole goal was to get that filmed before the month started, since I knew I was doing Vita, and it just did not happen. There was lots of things that occurred in my life that took precedent over filming a video, and I have not had a chance to finish it in order to edit it and upload it. So it is coming. It's just taking a long ass time to do. So I apologize for that. And then as soon as I finish filming that video, I have a vlog coming out that I am still working on daily, talking about a new process that I'm attempting. And hopefully by the end of the next couple of weeks, by the end of the month, I will have that vlog out to demonstrate what is going on and how that experiment is working. So I'm doing lots of things. It's just taking a lot of time. Excuse me. And all that to say that this month and next month are probably going to be more catch-up months than catch-up months than anything else, as I prep for, like, I've got a book coming out in December, and then I'm starting to plan my publishing schedule for next year and how I'm working everything and what's coming out. So things are happening behind the scenes. It's just you're not seeing a lot of it. So sorry. Anyways, it is 5 after the hour. We're going to go ahead and start our first sprint. 25 minutes on the clock. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, that is time. Let me know what you did, how you did in the comments. Oh, Jester wants to come in. Of course she does. I was working on a review. It is long. I'm talking about Alice by Christina Henry, which I listened to on audiobook earlier this year. Absolutely loved it. Love that book. But I have not finished the review yet, so I've got to do that. What's fun? Anyways, who else is here? Let's see. Paget is here. Little edits to a book I was supposed to stop editing yesterday, but you know how it is. Yep, I do. I understand that. Maybe I can let it go and write some new words tonight. I don't know. Hopefully you can. There comes a point, and I've heard this mentioned in a couple of videos lately, and it's starting to actually resonate with me. There comes a point when you are working on a book, when you're just making teeny tiny changes, and you just have to let it go. I don't remember. I have not hit that point lately with any books so far, mostly because I haven't been working on editing lately. I've just been drafting. But it's really interesting because there comes a point when you're in it, you cannot tell that's what you're doing. But the moment you step back and you realize it, you're like, oh, we're done. And it's like a freight train for some reason. It just hits you. All right, Angel is here. Hello. Cammy was here. Need to sleep, but I wanted to wish you well on your task. Tickle that like button. Tickle, 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 tickle. Don't forget to not to overhydrate so you don't. As I'm sitting here finishing my daily monster that I probably should have drank earlier today, but didn't even start until like dinner time. Oh well. Misty Kate is here. Hello. Dark Projects is here. Just kind of having a dissociate because this work was long. One more day before day off, right? I feel that. I'm so sorry. They decided 3 days ago that they were going to open. They've been putting out that the clinic is officially opening, like they're doing the open house September 11th. And then they came to us the other day. Well, I say us as if I was there, but I wasn't there. It was day shift. They went up to day shift and said, by the way, we're opening Monday. What? So I've spent the last week like stocking all their supplies and like paper towels, soap, sanitizer. In the bathrooms, I've been putting in like toilet paper, stuff like that. And I've been cleaning up all like drywall dust from where they've been putting new holes in the wall to hang up everything. And then they hit us with that. So I've had 2 days to get it up and ready to run on Monday. So that's fun. So I know all about work being long because I have been putting in 8 to 10 hour days daily this week. It's been fantastic. It's been fantastic. I feel your pain, Dark. I'm sorry. Yesterday I finished formatting my novel after 10 hours and re-uploaded it to KDP. Awesome. Congrats, Angel. Jordy. Oh my Jordy. Love your name, by the way. That's hilarious. I am stuck outlining, have been kind of out of it for a month trying to get back. Well, hopefully you can get that set this during this stream. Almost said it's a sprint. Hopefully we can help you. I just realized I forgot to put up the prompt when I did that last sprint. I'm pretty certain it wasn't up the entire time. That's okay. Nope, I never did. Okay, cool. That's fun. All right, that's okay. I was going somewhere with that, and now I don't remember where I was going. I sometimes outline projects, sometimes I don't. For the longest time, I didn't outline at all. And now I'm outlining more unless it's a short story. If it's anything that I'm pretty certain is going to be less than 10,000 words, I almost never outline it. I just write it. I'm trying to think of the lot, and even sometimes I have outlined things that I think are going to be longer, and then it turns out they're not that long. It just varies from project to project. So I really don't have any help. If anyone else has anything to share about outlining in the comments, feel free. I am not the best person to ask. I know there's lots of resources out there. I am not one of those resources because I changed my process so much. It's probably going to change again in the next couple of weeks. It seems to, if I'm working on a series, it seems to be the same for that series, but like this series might be different from this series, might be different from this standalone kind of thing. So it varies. Never attempted a full novel. Congrats. Wow, I cannot talk. Congrats. Hopefully you'll get some work done. But we're going to start this next sprint in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, that is time. Let me know how you did, what you did in the comments. I actually managed to put the prompt up this time. I can't believe I forgot it last time, especially since I started the sprint shortly after saying something about putting up prompts. I don't know, whatever. My brain is not working. I did a couple things during that sprint. I filmed a vlog clip because I am working on a experiment that will start being posted in a couple weeks, and I was filming a vlog clip for that. But I'm also reading and taking notes because, okay, does anyone else have a Kindle where they are like, they see the reading insights and they are trying to get all of the badges, or like they're trying to get a new streak or anything like that? Because I've been finding myself recently being so upset when I miss a day of reading on my Kindle because I break my reading streak. And apparently, at one point, the longest I've gone on a reading streak, I haven't even made it a full month. So, like, my brain is like, we need to like have a full month of reading, and it's because I'm actually reading daily. It's just that I hop between like audiobooks, the Kindle itself, and then I've got physical books. I mean, I've got bookshelves behind me. Who wouldn't be reading some of these things? I am not. I am reading library books. Don't tell anyone. In fact, actually, where are my library books? Are in the living room. But yeah, I keep seeing the reading insights, and I'm like, I have to read on my Kindle at least a couple pages. That's all it needs to be, is a couple pages. I broke my streak the other day just because I didn't feel like reading at all. I thought I'd read that day while I was at work. Apparently I didn't. And Kindle said, nope, you fucked up. And I was like, dang it. Can I just go 1 month? 1 month. That's all I want. 30 days. 30 days. Nope, not allowed. Anyways, Misty Kate is stream hopping, hosting a MST 3K. What is MST 3K? Watch party. I feel like I should know what that is. It sounds familiar, and I have absolutely no clue. So, Misty Kate, if you can enlighten me, feel free to tell me I'm an idiot. Jordy, you are writing fantasy. That is awesome. I love fantasy, all genres. I have got paranormal romance, urban fantasy, epic fantasy. I'm not really an epic fantasy writer. I don't know why I included that. Cozy fantasy. I am discovering mine is more on the cozier side as far as like my fantasy goes, which was really weird to discover considering how often I write about taboo subjects. I knew it sounded familiar. Mystery Science Theater. I was like, why does that sound familiar? I was like, why do I know that? I should know that. Oh, I haven't watched Mystery Science Theater since I was like my kids' age. And it was like airing on TV late at night. Oh. And now I want to watch it just to introduce it to my kids, just so they can go, what the fuck is this? What are we watching, Mom? How are you watching it, by the way? Like, I need to know this so I can find it and watch it myself. I want to know. Dark. I was obsessive about the reading insights, and I had 160 days, fell asleep early without reading. Oh, no. Wait, you mod the official 24-hour stream? Ooh, congrats. That's awesome. Yeah. Post a link. I am here for this. I haven't seen that. Like I said, since I was my kids' age. I haven't watched it. And that's really hilarious because we took the kids down memory lane the other day because I don't know what happened. My husband started. I just happened to walk in when it was going on. And they were playing all kinds of songs that like he and I grew up with. Right, love?
What?
The other day when I came in and you were playing music that you and I grew up with when we were the kids' age.
Oh, yeah.
Like he was playing Christina Aguilera, Backstreet Boys. What else did you play for them? What did it start with?
Club 7, NSYNC.
Yeah.
Spice Girls.
That was the one I walked in on. They were playing Spice Girls. Oh, Kitty says it's time to write. Give me a second, Kitty. I'll pause this because I'm talking. Was that it? He looks so confused. He's been sleeping off and on.
I just woke up.
Are you awake? For like the next hour? Love you. Oh, let's see. Yay, links. I'm gonna have to check it out. Okay. Channel has several live streams. Okay, cool. But I'm gonna have to check that out. I learned that my favorite writing spot is kind of romantic horror. Spookies with a romance subplot makes me happy. Oh. Do you have any recs, Dark, for that kind of stuff? Because I don't think I've read. I was watching a video the other day. I think it was from Leandra. I don't remember. I know, like, I've got her picture in my head, but I can't remember her channel name. And I just started watching her stuff. I want to say her name's Leandra. Sorry, I had to close the tablet. I don't want to look at history because it was on a playlist. I really want to say it was Leandra. Why am I sub to so many people? Leandra the TBR 0. That's who I was watching. And she was talking, her video was about hot takes. And she was talking about how the fact that the horror has some like subgenres, which I never even really thought about. And I was like, yes, that makes sense. But at the same time, I don't know why it never occurred to me. And I realized that romantic horror was something I was like, I'm not a huge horror fan in the first place, mostly because everything that gets recommended to me that's horror is like the gory, bloody, it's gore porn. And that is not my thing at all. Like, no, thank you. Get that shit away from me kind of thing. Gore porn is not my thing. But I would love to read some romantic horror because I am a romantic girly. Believe everyone deserves their soulmate, whether it's a romantic interest, platonic interest, or anything like that in between. But so, like, I want to read more romantic horror to see if that might be a genre I'm interested in. And I don't even know where to start. So if you got Rex, I'm here for it. Haven't read any good ones yet. So I've got 3 planned that I'm writing. There we go. Nothing but blackened teeth. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna have to haunted house with a wedding. It's a novella. Ooh, novella's even better because it's a short spooky love story. Got it. Yeah, Misty Kate, if you've read some that you love, like, pass those recs on to me because I want them. All right, did I miss any? Okay, I think I'm caught up on the chat for right now. So we're gonna go ahead and start this next sprint since the cat told us that we were supposed to be sprinting. Let me get the banner up so it's up so I don't forget it. Here we go. We're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, that is time, everybody. Tell me what you did, how you did in the comments. I managed to read 2 chapters in the book I was reading, as well as annotating those chapters a little bit. And then I continued on with the review I was working on before I got distracted by reading. So, yeah, got some work done. I also looked up that book that you were telling me about, Nothing But Blackened Teeth. And it's hilarious. Like, what reminded me to go back to returning to reading was the fact that I was looking on Goodreads to see what it actually classifies itself as far as like genre goes. And the first review says, I think this is the first horror novel I've read where characters say fuck an appropriate amount of times. And I was like, that's the entire review. And I was like, that's fantastic. I love that. I need to read this book. So yes, you can write a review that is basically supposed to be like a terrible review and honest to goodness be enchanted with it so much that you want to read the book. But yeah, I read the description and that sounds awesome. So I'm going to have to check that one out. I wonder if my library has it. Probably not. It's a small town. They seem to only have the very, very popular books. And this one doesn't seem to be very, very popular. At least according to Goodreads. That's pretty much all I use Goodreads for, is to figure out. I do like the fact that Goodreads has like genres listed below the description, and it specifically says, like, using Nothing But Blackened Teeth as a example, it says genres: horror, fiction, novella, paranormal, fantasy, adult, audiobook. What else? It has more here. Show me the more. I guess it doesn't have more. Whatever. It is being mean. And it won't show me more. Okay. My eye itches. But yeah. So I just thought that was amusing me. So I'm gonna have to check that book out and see. I'll see. Oh, finally loaded. Okay, Ghost Short Stories Japan. Show all. Oh, it's got a lot of. Okay, never mind. That's not what I wanted to see. It's not the same thing. Okay, but yeah. Oh goodness gracious. I was going somewhere with that, but I can't remember what it was. Anyways. Finally, I can start outlining my new novel. Yes, do that, Angel. Outline new novels. Woo! Oh, that's right, because you said you had formatted a new release. When's your new release coming out? Or is it already out? Did I misunderstand that? I might have misunderstood that. Dark says, from doing a little research, it seems like most romantic horror overlaps with gothic horror, which is neat. So as far as like gothic horror is concerned, I've read, I think the only one I've actually read that I can remember off the top of my head that's gothic horror is Rebecca by Daphne Demure, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I think that's the only gothic horror I've read. And I'm not even positive that's actually gothic horror. It's just that's what that, in my mind, is gothic horror. I don't know if that actually is gothic horror. I might have to do some research too. I got the audiobook from the library system. Ooh, awesome. Okay, Angel said it was out, but it had to edit and format it. Kindle's now available. Yay! Feel free to post a link. I'll make sure it goes through. I am shedding. There is a lot of YA that I would consider romantic horror. Ooh. Such as, I do read a lot of YA. Especially in the fantasy genre, now that more fantasy seems to be leaning into the romantasy and contains a lot of spice. I'm finding myself more and more, if I want a fantasy, I'm leaning more towards YA fantasy, because at least then I know it's not going to be as spicy. Though, to be fair, there is a lot of spice in the YA genre right now for some fucking reason. But yeah. I want something that has a little bit of ick, but isn't full of splatterpunk extreme with a romantic subplot. There we go. Right, retro stuff from the 80s and 90s. Like, when I can't think of any off the top of my head. Oh, I just totally hit my computer. Do I have any romantic horror? Any horror at all? That's not YA. Come on, Skye. Do you have anything on your shelf? No? Okay, I guess not. And the cat says it's time to sprint. Okay, hold on. Let me pause this. I have a lot of YA on my shelf. That's 90% of what my shelf is YA, which is scary to think about. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't think I have any horror on my shelves, actually. I don't even have Stephen King, and I've read a few of Stephen King's. I read his nonfiction, but that was a gift. Fantasy, contemporary, fantasy. Yeah, I don't have any. Like, none. Okay. Let's see. Richie Tenkersley. I am butchering that name. I read a lot of Christopher Pike growing up. Yeah, and I have Remember Me, which I didn't realize was part of a series. I thought that was a standalone. Apparently, it's part of a series. So now I've got to get the rest of the books. I remember reading it in like this little mass market paperback, and it was the year it came out. And I was like, oh, this was a good novel. And now I'm learning years later when I wanted to get a copy to reread and get it for myself. I was like, since when is this a series? I think I liked it better when it was a standalone. I haven't read the series, by the way. I have no idea if it's any good. But yeah, I did read a lot of Christopher Pike because I read The Last Vampire series, the whole series. I don't remember how many books were out back then. I read my first Lois Duncan last year because I read I Know What You Did Last Summer. And Stein. So I skipped the Goosebumps era. By the time that I got introduced to R.L. Stein, I was reading much more mature books. So going in back and reading a Goosebumps, I was like, what the fuck am I reading? What is this? This is dumb. Legit. Like, I was such a shitty teenager because I was definitely dissing those books bad. I was like, what am I reading? Like, why are these characters so much idiots? And I can't read a Goosebumps books now to save my life for that reason. But I did read R.L. Stein's like Fear Street novels. Like, I think my first introduction to R.L. Stein was A New Fear. That was the name of the book, and it's not even one of the first ones. It's a separate series from the original Fear Street. It's like an origin story prequel thing. And I was like, oh, I like this. Oh, wait. This is not the first book. I gotta read the first book. My brain could not compute. I was so confused. And then I realized why. And I was just like, oh, that explains a lot. Okay. Deadly Game of Magic, I'll have to check out. That one sounds familiar. I probably read it. But I don't remember it off the top of my head. And I definitely need... Ooh. I thought I gave you wrench power, Angel. I'm sorry. Apparently it didn't go through. Hold on. Boom! You should have wrench power now. Because I don't see a link. So I'm just giving you wrench power. And I thought I gave you wrench power, but apparently I didn't. I'm so sorry. Okay, let's see what else. I know we have one more. There's the link. I see it now. Okay, let's see. Cataluna Chronicles Saga? About the haunted cars? I didn't read Christine until I was an adult. I don't know if you were supposed to read that as a teenager or not. And I remember loving Christine. I was like, ooh, a demonic car. Can we get some haunted cars now? I went through this this mood vibe phase, whatever you want to call it, where I was like, I want to have like all of the haunted cars. And that's part of the reason that when I got the opportunity to do the anthology submission for Summer Solstice Seduction, why I wanted the car to be haunted, like that was the legit reason. Because when I read Christine, I was like, I want more books like this. Because it was an entire vibe, and I was like, I want more books like this. And then I didn't read any. I didn't even look for any, to be fair. Okay, I'm not the only one. I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought but Remember Me was a standalone. No, apparently it's a trilogy now. I think it's a trilogy. Hold on, now I gotta look it up. Remember Me, Christopher Pike. Sorry. Yep, it's a trilogy now. There is Remember Me, The Return, and The Last Story. And apparently, let's see, The Return was published in when were you published? 2020. This version of it was at least published in 2020. So maybe that's why we're all remembering it as like this standalone, because I want to say Remember Me was published in the 90s. Yeah, this says 2020 as well, which I know is not accurate. Where's my book say? Hold on. I should have it nearby. Unless I was reading. No, it's right there. Hold on. Ah. See, look, it's even got a 1 on it. Like, it's no longer a single standalone. It's got a 1 on it. But I want to say it was 90s. 89. It was originally published in 89. Not even 90s. It was 80s. And now I need to know, when was like the second one published? Because now I want to know. We're going to just start the next sprint soon, I promise. Not Rossetti. Not Rosaletti. Pike. The Return. There we go. Oh, I will figure that I shenanigans. I'm not going to lie. I would love to see this as a movie. Like, I think this would make a great movie. Not a trilogy, just the first one. I just want to know when it came out. Not Krista Pike. Why are you saying Krista Pike? Okay, so this one was originally published in 89. Remember Me Too came out in 94. Ooh, this smells good. Sorry, that was random. That disturbs me a little because I was definitely a teenager when I read this one. So why didn't I realize that this had a sequel? If it came out, I was born in 90, so which means I was like, I would have read this one when I was like 13 or so. Oh well, whatever. I am going on a tangent for no friggin' reason. It doesn't even really matter. I am so sorry. Let's see. I have the small paperback. I'm not gonna lie, the cover's not bad. I don't hate the cover, but I definitely remember reading the small mass market paperback, and I wish I had that one. I just remember seeing this when I was at Barnes & Noble one day, and I was like, oh, I haven't read that in a long wait, what? And that was when I discovered it wasn't the only book. They had the whole trilogy, and I hate myself for not getting the whole trilogy right then, but whatever. Because now I guarantee I'm going to get the next one, and I'm not going to get the same size, which is going to irritate me. Anyways, let's do this final sprint, guys. 10 hours of formatting? Oh, I remember the days when I was formatting in Word, and that's how long it takes me. Okay. Ooh. I read Christina on our senior trip to Florida while on the beach. Ooh. Okay. I have no room in my tiny house. I am missing I remember reading Remember Me. It was a library book, and that's why I had the small paperback. So it was never one I owned until now. Like, this is the first time I've owned it. The next series I am looking at getting is The Last Vampire, because I remember really liking those, especially the origin story of vampires in that one. So definitely need to get my hands on that. Anyways, let's do this final sprint. We got one sprint left, guys, and I keep distracting everyone. I'm so sorry. So here we go. We are going to start the sprint as soon as I find out where my timer went. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. I never even heard the cat meow. So that is time, everyone. Sorry about that. Kids and I were looking at pictures because the oldest decided that she wanted to color her hair red. And so we did that today. Got her hair red and with Manic Panic. And then I was telling them about the fact that she's had her hair red before. It turns out I was wrong. We did an Easter egg hunt one year, and all the kids had this like spray in hair color, the temporary that you wash out within like 24 hours kind of thing. And good night. I had pictures of the oldest with green and blue and the youngest with red when I thought it was the other way around. So, anyways, all right. How did everyone do? I am curious. I spent that sprint saying goodnight to the kiddos before we got distracted by pictures. I worked on a review a little bit. I still haven't finished that one review. I have a lot to say about that book. I really enjoyed it. And I'm just basically I'm just gushing about all the things I enjoyed about it. I'm still not even like halfway done with it. And then I was also researching Christopher Pike books because I was like, do I want to get my hands on the rest of the Remember Me trilogy? Do I want to get the Last Vampire series, which apparently, when I read it, there were 6 novels. They were like these short, quick mass market paperback reads. Now apparently there is 6 novels, with books 1 and 2 being the first 6 of the original series as like omnibuses, and then he wrote 3 more, and I'm just like, what? So I don't know what's going on, but some of the books I remember reading growing up have more books to them now all of a sudden. Alice by Christina Henry. It's very dark. Trigger warnings for anyone who is affected by it's dark, but it was not, there were parts that were gory, but to me it felt very cathartic. Like it has a very cathartic feel in the very and the end, because in my opinion it's like a journey to get over the trauma that you had kind of thing. But there is definitely mention of slavery, drug trafficking, sexual trafficking. There is body horror as far as like stuff like that. It's actually been on my reading list for a while, but Amazon earlier this year was like, here's a book we think you might like. And it had a different cover than the one that was on my on my want to read list. But yeah, Alice by I want to say it's Christina Henry. Yes, Christina Henry. It's part of a duology, but there technically is a third book that's a collection of short stories in the same world. And then everything else she writes that I've seen from her so far, when I was like doing a little bit of research on more books by her, are retellings that feel like they're part of the same world, but because they're different stories, they're not part of the same series, if that makes sense. It's weird. Oh, L.J. Smith. Yeah. I have not read L.J. Smith in forever and a day. I don't even think I've read the original Vampire Diaries, because I know that's what you're talking about with when you're saying that the show slaughtered it. I couldn't get into Vampire Diaries, the show. Like, I really don't understand what people love about it. I'm like, why are these 2 brothers who are vampires, who are eons old, fighting over a teenage nobody? Like, why? I don't understand it. But to be fair, I was already an adult when the show came out, and I never read the books, so maybe that's a me thing. I will readily admit that's probably me a thing. Because I'm pretty certain there's an explanation to that. I just don't understand. He is a pretty boy. Oh, goodness. Okay. Was disappointed in all the shows. My favorite was always Secret Circle. Hi, Ogre. What's up? I know, it's bedtime. Your bedtime, not mine. Secret Circle. I haven't read any L.J. Smith. She is on my to read list, and I did look at my library to see if they had any of her books, and no, they don't, which sucks. My library is very limited as far as like what is in stock. I live in a very small western town, so you want to know what actually is predominantly in my library is all of the love-inspired Harlequins and romance. And as far as like, they don't even have, there's James Patterson, all the big popular authors they probably have as far as like adult fiction goes, but their teen section is more newer stuff than older stuff. Like, I'm pretty certain there's nothing that was published prior. Like, I don't even remember seeing. My kids were asking me about Twilight because I was watching some kind of video that was talking about like cringe books that 90s kids read and loved, and like it was comparing it to like what's currently popular and is also technically cringe. It was a very weird video, and my kids were asking me like, what is Twilight? And so I was going to show them Twilight because I remember reading that, and one of my friends was obsessed with Twilight when it came out, to the point where like the day of release she had it in her hands, kind of obsessed. And I was just like, it's okay, it's not the greatest thing ever written, but it's okay. By then I'd read a lot of better vampire books, and that was part of the reason I did not like Twilight. I'm just saying. Had nothing to do with the writing style until I was an actual adult. But yeah, I was gonna at least show them what they were talking about in the video, and I couldn't even do that because they didn't even have Twilight. And I was like, wow, nothing is beyond such and such date. So, oh goodness gracious, did I miss any comments that I want to make sure? Did want to open that one. Yeah, my library here is probably just as big. If I count both the physical books and the ebooks that I have, I probably have just as much media between the two as my actual library has physically. Like, there's not a lot of books there. Their teen section is 1, 2, 3, 6, 9 shelves. That's it. Westerns take up 4 shelves. Their science fiction and fantasy takes up 5 shelves. Like, there's not a lot of room for books in that little library. It's tiny. Ooh, maybe I should ask them if they've ever thought about moving to a different location so they can have bigger, more space. Because now I'm curious. I want to know if that's ever been in the plans, like the works. Curious minds want to know. YouTube, why do you do that crap to me? Like, I did not even do a thumbs up that I know of. Whatever. Physical media, yes, I agree. Physical media is important. I do love my e-reader, though, and I do love my audiobooks. Not going to lie. But yes. I came home with books the other day from the library. I say the other day. Yesterday, I came home with books, and my husband looked at the books because they were honka-chunks. I could do physical damage with these books. And he was like, what made you get these? And I was like, well, this one is R.A. Salvatore, Forgotten Realms. And I held up the book and I was like, do you know who this is? And he was like, it's Dritz. Of course I know who that is. I'm like, good. I haven't read these yet. He's like, I know. We've talked about this. I'm like, well, I want to read them. And it was an omnibus of Homeland. Now I can't remember the 3 books. The first 3 of the Dritz trilogy, the first Dritz trilogy. I know there's more series out now, but the first trilogy. And then the second book, I was like, this is also an omnibus. It's the first 3 in this series that I know is 5 books long because my dad has all of the books by this author. And that was the, I am going to butcher it. It's by David Eddings. It's the I cannot think. David Eddings, the Bulgarian. I am probably pronouncing that wrong, but yeah. So those were the 2 honka-chunk books I brought home, and I haven't read either one. But I remember seeing the mass market paperbacks in my family library growing up, and my family library being my parents' library, because my mom was very much into romances and thrillers, but my dad was sci-fi, fantasy, strictly. So like they had 500 plus books and they were all fantasy, and it was like the same 4 authors because they had every book by said author. If that author put out a new book, my parents would have bought it day of. Oh goodness. That reminds me of Splatterpunk Western buying binge. What? Is splatter okay, what is splatterpunk? Because I was saying gore porn Is that the same thing? Like, is splatterpunk gore porn? Because in that case, I'm not interested in that. But when you say splatterpunk western, that just sounds like a lot of fun. And if it's gore porn, I don't want anything to do with that. But at the same time, I'm just like, is that what I think it is? Or is it something different? I'm going to do a stream where we just talk about nothing but books one day. No sprints, no nothing. We're just going to be like vibes with books we've read growing up. I love the fact that the first 3 Dritz books were bedtime books. That is awesome. That was for me and my kids. I read Magic Tree House to my kids because I remembered loving those growing up, and I was like, this will be something that I can read to them as kids that they'll love and want to read on their own. And what else did we read? I read Tamora Pierce to them. I read which series? The Alana series. I don't remember if it has a different title or not. Alana the First Adventure, The Woman Who Rides Like a Man, Lioness Rampart, that series. I don't remember what the name of the series itself is called. But yeah, I read those to the kids. On top of like, I can't read for a very long time. So like most of what I read to them growing up were storybooks just because I could not do it. Magpie Coffin. Splatterpunk just means mega gore. Yeah, that's probably not for me then. I think our wavelengths are the same, where splatterpunk for you is the same thing as gore porn for me. We just call it 2 different things, but I think it's the same thing. But Magpie Coffin. I've gotten so many book racks. I'm here for it. Magpie Coffin. It tried pulling up a book. I don't know if it was a book or something about, but you know how when you're typing in Amazon, it tries to like autofill words, and I started typing in coffin, and it put Magpie Coffin Cup. And I was just like, I don't think that's what I'm looking for. The cover looks cool. Splatter Western, okay. I don't know about this. I love that his name is the Black Magpie. I feel like magpies don't get a lot of attention because ravens and crows are very heavy into media. Always have been, always will be. Love me a good raven, love me a good crow. But I have so many magpies out here, and they are just as intelligent, if not more so, than ravens. And I feel like they don't get enough attention. So if Magpie Coffin has a magpie in it, I am here for it. And yes, I realize that his name is Black Magpie, and he's like an outlaw. But please tell me his name, because there's some kind of magpie involved, like an actual magpie. Oh goodness gracious, that would be hilarious. I might have to check it out. Death's Head Press. I can't even say that 5 times fast. Death's Head Press is the name of the publisher. Southern themed horror stories. Catfish in the Cradle, The Perfectly Fine House. I'm reading about the author. And Magpie Coffin. Corporate Cthulhu. No, I'm sorry. Corporate Cthulhu. What are we looking at with this one? Yes, Ogre. Is there something you need? This stream has gotten all off topic, and we are just talking about books now. I can't find Corporate Cthulhu. I want to know what this is. It's listed, but it's not showing it. Who was the author? Hold on. Maybe I'll find it under Wiley Young. Please tell me. No. Okay. Well, if it was available, it's not now. I just wanted to know what it was. I don't know. Okay, let me go back to the topic. Okay, here we go. Oh, cover does look cool. Old school aesthetic of the cover dragged me in the whole splatter western thing. Okay. DHP does a lot of in that vein. DHP. Oh, Death's Head Press. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check them out. I am not going to lie. I absolutely adore older horror covers because I swear they were just so cool. And the covers we get for horror nowadays, in my opinion, and this is coming from someone who doesn't read a lot of horror, so take what I say with a grain of salt, but they're so boring. And like these 80s, 90s looking covers are just so pretty to look at. And they show like this is definitely a horror novel. Like you can tell it's a horror novel. But the horror books that come out these days, I am just like that doesn't look like a horror book for the most part. And B, the cover is just so boring. Like I wouldn't read this just because it looks boring. That being said, there's some borderline books that to me read as thrillers, but they're classified as horror. I really can't say horror. Horror. Um yes, most modern horror books look like thrillers, and that's not the same. I definitely like the old style covers of the yes, completely 100% agree with that. I've read some books recently that were marketed as horror. The covers look like thrillers, the books read as thrillers. And I'm just like, this is not horror. I was in the mood for horror. I'm not saying this book isn't good. Not saying the book isn't good, but it was listed as a horror, not a thriller, and I'm just like this is not what I signed up for. Andrew Van Way does modern cosmic horror. See, I do like cosmic horror because I'm a very big fan of Cthulhu. You got my Shrine to Cthulhu on the music stand with the Necronomicon, my Cthulhu tarot deck, and my Necronom Nom 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 cookbook. So, yes, give me all the cosmic horror. I'm gonna have to go back through the stream and just write down names and books and stuff because this is awesome. Lots of fun socials and Pinterest that collect those old covers, right? There was a book I was interested in reading. It was on my wish list. I don't know if it's still there or not. That was basically just a compendium of the artwork of horror novels from like the 80s. And that's all it was. It was just cover pictures. Like it was supposed to be this art book of the covers of various 80s horror novels. And I was like, that is such a cool idea. And I added it to my wish list. And I cannot remember the name of it. Compendium wasn't the title. So maybe if I type in horror compendium, I cannot talk. Nope, not coming up in the first page of results. So I'll have to figure it out. I probably do still have the title somewhere. It might even still be on my wish list. I don't know. But I just thought the idea of this book full of nothing but 80s and early 90s cover art for horror novels was such a cool concept because the artwork was so pretty. Like I cannot show you, but I do have a book up on my shelf and it's called Erotic Fantasy Art, which is why I can't show it to you because it is very naughty and we are live. But I have that book because the artwork and the art style of those artists is so pretty. And I just love it. And seeing the compendium of the horror covers, that might be the title of it. Hold on, let me see if that's it. Paperbacks from Hell. Is that it? Is that it? Is that it? Is that it? Yes! That was it! 70s and 80s. Sorry, I shifted it to 80s and 90s. I thought it was 80s and 90s. But yes, that's exactly it. That's the one I was looking for. And it is still on my wish list. Awesome. Cool. But like, isn't that such a cool book? Like, I need that in fantasy. I need that for every genre, actually, because there's a video out there. I've been watching so many videos lately. They're all starting to run together. But there is a video, and I haven't watched it yet. It's on my wish list or watch list of someone talking about artwork for romance and how it's changed from like the bodice rippers as we used to call them, and now they're very subtle and like vector artwork. And I want to watch that video just because I want to see what they talk about. But like the evolution of how genres and covers have changed throughout the years is so interesting to me that I need more of the compendiums like Paperbacks from Hell of just the different genres. Like, let's see how Western really hasn't changed. Like, I can grab a Western from the 70s and it'll be the same as a Western from like now. Yes. Yes. But like every other genre has so many drastic changes to it. Romance has changed so much because now we've got alternate covers that people do. And I do like the idea of alternate covers, but at the same time, it like irritates me on a like I know it's me, it's a personal thing, but I'm like, why'd you do 2 covers? Like, why'd you waste your money like that? You could have just done 1. I don't understand this. Like, I get it. I get the need for 2 covers, but at the same time, I'm like, just do the other one if you really don't want people knowing you're reading. Okay, whatever. It's your money. I don't have to care. But it's just such a cool, interesting concept that I want that book, and I want more books from other genres like that. I think that would be so cool. Miss the saucy Fabia style Harlequin covers, right? I purposely go into the library now. Every once in a while, my library does library sales, and I purposely look for the saucy covers, the Fabia style covers. It's great. There's a book YouTube channel called Library Macabre that's always looking for these covers and books, mainly YA. Ooh, I'll have to check that one out. Yes, Ogre is trying to convince me to go to bed. I miss the old style tip-in covers with the subtle outside. Oh, that's what it's called. Okay, hold on. Let me grab something real quick. Oh, okay, that's right. I didn't get that one. Hold on. Okay. Actually, I can kind of talk about it. Ow! I gotta quit forgetting that's there. Part of my desk is sticking out. Okay, so I couldn't get the box set of this for the longest time. And I say box set as if I was actually buying a box set. I wasn't. I was trying to buy all 4 books, and I wanted them all to match because I'm weird that way. But for the longest time, the first book was a tip-in cover, and it wasn't even a good tip-in cover because the second page, the tip-in, like, I was trying to describe it to my husband. I was like, I don't want a book where the front cover is shorter than the rest of the book, and then there's like an image inside, unless they all match. If they all match that way, yes, I want that. But that's not the way this is working out so far, because the first book was the only one like that for a while, and then I finally found all 4 matching, and it made me happy, so I got it. But tip-in, that was the word I was trying to describe it to him. I was like, when the front cover is shorter, it was mostly done in these historical romances where they had to cut out in the cover because they didn't want to show the whole image, but they wanted to show part of the image. And so they had the front cover was shorter, and you opened it up and there was a full illustrated image there. Tried to describe this to my husband, and he was just looking at me like, what? It was great. It was fantastic. And you just reminded me of that conversation because you said tip-in. I do not do my own covers. I will gratefully pay someone else to do my covers for me. I am not that artistically challenged. I am artistically challenged. I'm not that artistically competent. That was how they did subtle. Right? Like, that's how we hit our books. That's how we hit our bodice rippers. Okay, I gotta put this one back. I don't even think I have one right now that does that. Hi. Sup? Okay.
What are you looking for?
I was trying to figure out if I had a book that is. Remember how I was trying to describe to you this was months back. how I didn't want the cover that's shorter and then had the image on the inside. It's called a tip-in. I did not realize that. Just learned that on my live stream. I'm still live, by the way. But I was trying to find if I have a cover that does that, and I don't think I do. Nope, I probably don't. I'll have to look because now I want to know.
If we do, it's somewhere on that book.
It's somewhere on the shelf because I do have a lot of mass market paperbacks. That's a mass market paperback thing, not a trade back paper thing. I have not once seen that in trade paperback. Have a good night, Paget. Thank you for joining us. I hope you got a lot done during the sprints when we were sprinting. I probably should be wrapping up. I think my husband's about to go to bed. He just stepped outside for a cigarette, but I'm pretty certain that's a sign that he's going to bed. And since I got to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe I should be doing that too. Why am I wide awake? It has nothing to do with the monster because I actually was getting me tired. Okay, I am going to have to do a live stream one day where we talk nothing but books. I am going to have to look through my books and see if I have any tip-in covers because now I want to know if I do. I don't think I do. Pretty certain I don't. And I've never seen that with trade paperback. So if you are out there and you have a tip-in cover with a trade paperback, the only one I've seen it with is the Aragon book, and it wasn't even that there was an illustrated cover. It was full of nothing but like the blurbs where people have quoted it and said, "This is awesome, you should read it," kind of thing. Anyways, thank you all for joining me tonight. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here and go to bed, even though I'm not tired. And of course, she's barking. She went outside, so now she's barking. Anyways, for those who don't know, my name is Skye. I'm a fantasy author who typically writes paranormal romance under the name SD Hegyes. I have been on this stream way too long. I am way too far wide awake for someone who should be going to sleep, so they have to be up early. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I really enjoy these conversations. I never really know what we're going to talk about when we do these streams, but I always enjoy them. It's always fantastic. And now I have lots of reading recs that I have to check out. So you all have a lovely night. I will be here next week for another live stream, 2 hours at 10 p.m. my time, which is midnight Eastern. Sorry, guys. And yeah, I'm going to take off and I'll see anyone who's interested in video content tomorrow for another day of Vita. So have a good night, everyone. Let me make sure I can press the right button.